Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about hollow body frog color choices, okay? So I just did a video on the differences between a pop-in style frog, like this one right here, and a walking style frog bait, so hollow body frog. And we kind of broke down the differences between these two different types of frogs. So if that's a video that you want to see, go check that one out. And it got a lot of great questions. And one of the most common questions that I got on that video was, what is your frog color selection? And that's a question that I get for pretty much every product category, every lure category, because there's so many different options out there. But, as far as Z-Man goes, I use the Elite Frogs from Z-Man, which has they have both the pop-in style and the walking style. And really, they keep it pretty simple. There's like 5 or 6 different options as far as color with the Elite Frogs. And so you really don't have to go too crazy. And they keep it pretty simple on that product line. But as far as like the other frogs that you find on the market, holy cow, there are a ton of different options. I know some product category or some frog companies make, 100 or more different SKUs for each frog. So it can get really, really confusing. But I'm going to kind of discuss my simplified version of choosing the right color for your frog baits, because I like to keep things simple. If you guys have watched my videos where I talk about lure selection or color selection, I really like to keep things fairly simple. I use the KISS method, and to me, I think that is the right way to go the majority of the time. Now, I will say that although I have a handful of colors that I use probably 98% of the time, there's always a 2% where maybe the fish are feeding on like a specific type of like bird or something, that has a specific color. Maybe it has like a yellow head, a black body, something like that. So there's always a situation where you might need a specific color to get a little extra edge. But as far as just general fishing all around the country in all different situations, these colors I'm going to show you really, pretty much cover all your bases. First thing I actually want to talk about before we get into the specific colors is really think about what the fish are seeing with a frog, okay? A topwater bait in general, I think that we get way too crazy specific as far as the colors. I think most of the colors are designed to catch the fisherman, not the fish. And all these fish are really generally looking at when it comes to a frog or any other topwater bait is the bottom. Obviously, they can't see the top unless it rolls over, but that is very, very rare, especially for a frog bait, that the fish will ever see the top of the frog. The only time that really I've faced that is if I'm fishing these frogs on, grass mats and they happen to flop over. But in that situation, the fish aren't really getting a good look at it anyways. But so just really pay attention to the bottom color on these baits. That's the first thing is like these companies are getting, you could see the Z-Man Elite Frogs, lots of really realistic patterns on the top, which is great. But if it's not the right color on the bottom, I don't think that it's a good frog to use. And that's one of the things that I really liked about the Elite Frogs is they keep the bottom colors pretty simple, whether it's, white or pearl, yellow, black, whatever it is, they keep it pretty simple and it looks pretty realistic. So, keep in mind that all you're really looking for is what's on the belly, not what's on the top of the bait. All right, so let's start with the first color. So this one right here, this color is called brown leopard in the Elite Frog lineup. But really, again, we're paying attention to the bottom of the frog. So this one right here has kind of a whitish, pearlish belly, very natural type white or pale belly. And then you have a little bit of a yellow chin on there. This color right here I really like for a wide variety of situations. This is one of the best for, if I don't know what to throw and I'm fishing mostly open water, so skipping it under, overhanging trees, casting around isolated cover and just walking in open water. It's not my favorite for fishing over grass mats. But this one is just a really good overall choice because it is great for imitating bluegill, shad, and also, frogs. If you're going up to like La Crosse, Wisconsin or something like that on the Mississippi River, there's a lot of these type of like leopard frogs around, and it looks very, very realistic as far as that goes. So this is a really good all-around natural color pattern. There's a lot of different prey species out there that are going to have a similar counter shading, coloration just like this. That very pale belly, the majority of the things that these fish are eating are going to have this natural pale belly on them. So that's a good all-around one. The next one is called, from Z-Man's name is called Old School Frog. Okay, so got a very realistic top on it, and then you've got the yellow belly. All right, so the yellow belly, again, is what we're focusing on here. This is a really good one for specifically, when you're around a lot of bullfrogs. So like if you're on a river system such as the Mississippi River, or you're on a lake that has a lot of these frogs that have these yellow bellies on them, this is a really good one to choose because it just imitates those frogs very, very well. Another thing that it can do very well is imitate bluegill. It's not as super realistic for bluegill, but it does work very well for a lot of bluegill species. And but usually when I'm reaching for this one's my favorite for when I go to the Mississippi River, and it's because it imitates those frogs so well. All right, so these two colors that I'm going to show you next, these are really good colors for mostly real heavy, dense grass mats. So when you're faced with topped out grass, maybe it's got some algae on top, you want more bold, bright colors or darker colors, things that either stand out really well or create a nice big dark profile. And so this one right here is called White Knight. This is just a white colored frog. This one's going to be really good for not only fishing over mats, when you want something that's a little bit light colored, but also when you're around a shad spawn. This is a really good color to be throwing around any areas where those shad are actively spawning, but you can't fish another type of topwater because there's a lot of snags. This is a really good overall shad spawn and mat color. So white, no matter what the brand, it is a really, really killer color. It's one of the definitely top choices for the densest cover. And then the other one is Black Knight. So Black Knight is obviously just black, and this one honestly is going to see the majority of the action when the fish are in the mats. Now, I will switch to white, but I always have this one tied on first for fishing dense, heavy, matted vegetation. This is the one that I'm going to be casting on the TVA. You go to Gunnersville, you come here to Chickamauga, it just seems to be the best overall choice for grass mats. Again, you may have a situation where you need to go to a different color, but for most of those grass mat situations, you want something that has a pretty obvious profile, and that's when a black frog is going to work really, really well. And again, you can use it in open water too. If it's a really dark, rainy day, maybe you're fishing lakes that have more tannic stain water, like down in Florida. You think that there's a lot of dark looking critters that potentially could be swimming around or crawling around the shoreline or something like that. Black does work really, really well. But overall, those are my 4 different color choices that I tend to focus on the most for my frog fishing. Occasionally, I also will like pick up a brown or something like that if I feel like there's a lot of like mice or something that the fish are feeding on. But you know, when it comes to the majority of the scenarios that I'm faced with a frog, these are the heavy hitters right here. You know, you got yellow base, natural base, you got black, and you've got a very bright white. That's really all you need in frog fishing, in my opinion. But again, that is just my opinion. So let me know what you think about these color choices. Do you think that I'm correct on it, or do you think I need to add a couple more colors to the 98% arsenal? So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you all for all the questions about the frog color, and hopefully this video answers that question. I'll see you out on the water. Take care.